Hisuian Samurott V-Star. Here we go.
Yeah, that is one we have not seen for sure. So even though we are seeing that familiar Mew, this is going to be very interesting to dive into, especially with that Galarian wheezing as well. We get to see make an appearance. They're putting their prize cards out now, but this should be a very exciting matchup here. What do you think, Kyle, what do you think going into this match we're going to be seeing from both players, especially knowing this is going to be a Samurott versus a Mew?
Yeah, and we do see the fist bump there, and we're going to get started. So yeah, on paper, you look at this, Mew VMAX does have a weakness to Darkness-type Pokemon.
Yep.
And Hisuian Samurott V-Star is a Darkness type. There is a really weird interaction, though. You know, Hisuian Samurott V-Star's attack does more damage if your opponent's Pokemon already has any damage counters on it. And typically, your way to do that is things like Galarian Zigzagoon's Headbutt Tantrum or Inteleon with Quick Shooting. But Fusion Strike energy blocks the effects of abilities, so it can block those little damage counter pings from the Zigzagoon and from the Quick Shooting. So there's this weird situation where even though Mew VMAX does have a weakness to Darkness types, you may not be able to even get a one-hit knockout because you can't get that initial damage counter on there. So that's kind of the interaction I'm looking for here.
That is very true. I can't tell you how many matchups I've played where I'm like, oh, let me quick shooting this online, and then it wiggles. You know, nothing actually happens because of that fusion energy. So that is a very good point there, Kyle. Definitely. So even with the weakness, there's some interesting things here. But of course, Ryan doesn't necessarily know what they're going up against as well. I mean, unless they knew from some other round, I guess, or they saw the deck. But it's once we actually see.
I don't know what's going on here. I think we just saw a level ball for a quick ball.
This?
There we go.
Oh, just a little bit. Thinking too far ahead maybe there, Kyle.
It's okay, it's okay. Just play like normal.
Yep,
Okay.
all right, here we go.
Those are some.
Am I understanding correctly that this is actually the second turn for Andrea? Because there's an evolution. Yeah, Ryan's hand is horrendous. Yeah, I think they just passed their first turn.
Oh, just passed first turn. So this is second turn?
I think so,
How did we miss that, Kyle?
I don't know. It just happened so fast.
All right,
That's my only explanation, because, yeah, there's an evolution Pokemon on the field already.
Yeah, definitely. That would mean this has to be the second turn, because you do have to wait a full turn rotation in order to actually evolve into another Pokemon. So we did see that evolution into that Drizzile after a little bit of ball confusion there, but now we are seeing that's an air balloon down on that Drizzile as well, and then a Choice Ball on the Zigzagoon. And then the Crobat V hitting the bench, Dark Asset, drawing, I believe it was 3 more cards to hand for a total of 6.
I don't know if you noticed, but every card so far has been foil. Shiny everything.
I noticed, Kyle, because I was like, that's
up.
a bit hard to see.
Hold on, are we going to see the Crobat V attack for game?
Oh. That would be absolutely wild, but I guess that...
Just saw the Dark Patch onto the Crobat V.
That is a possibility here.
We just need to see one energy card, and I think that'll be an attack for the game with Venomous Fang. So Andrea going to play the Marnie. So this can be risky. Obviously, if you draw the energy, you just win immediately. But if you miss, then you've given your opponent a way out and a new hand.
Well, let's see here. If we see the energy, this could be real quick here.
No.
Oh, no energy. Oof. I think it was worth trying, though, Kyle. I mean, that is a...
we'll see.
True. We will see. But the opportunity was there for that hand. So I guess you got to do what you got to do here. But unfortunately, it doesn't pay off getting that energy. That Meloetta was about to have a real bad time. But we're okay now. Still going here with this turn. So we are going to see it. We are going to need to see a little bit of recovery after that, I guess. But I'm still believing in the Samurott deck.
Yeah, that's got to be devastating. I think easy win, just Marnie, 5 cards, and we see a Temple of Sinnoh. So this is another interesting interaction. That actually does remove the effect of Fusion Strike energy, and it's a way to kind of punch through that blocking effect. But Andrea just deciding to play the Stadium out from hand. Really interesting. Feels like that's a card you'd want to save for the turn where you want to shut off the Fusion Strike energy, drop a damage counter, and then attack with your Hisuian Samurott V-Star.
Yeah, not sure how many are in the list, but that is definitely a good point there, Kyle. Okay, so now we are back over to Ryan here with this Mew VMAX deck. So this is now the second turn for Ryan, and we are getting out some Genesects here onto the field, the Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards to search out 1 here. Also just looking through the deck as well, familiarizing themselves with the prize cards on this end too. Still no Mew out though. Not sure what's in hand either.
Yeah, we got the Genesect going though, so we're going to see the Fusion Strike system. I think Ryan probably went through a roller coaster of emotions on that last turn.
Oh yeah.
Started off thinking, oh, I'm about to lose to a Crobat V, but then no energy, and then it's, oh, well, I had a horrible hand, but now you've given me an Ultra Ball and a Cram-O-Matic. I just flip heads on this.
There we go. So many of these heads are, wow, I guess I called that. So many of these dice are rolling off for us today. But there we go. Cram-O-Matic does hit heads. So searching out any card here for Ryan. This is the second turn. So we'll see what is going to be searched out here. Putting that Mew V into the front and looks like opting to grab it as well. There is still another Fusion Strike system in play, so we could, of course, see more cards drawn with that. And I think we were already down to 2 cards in hand for Ryan as well. One of them, I think, being a... Actually, I don't know. I was like, I think I saw this, but I have no idea now. My eyes were playing tricks on me.
And just taking a look at Ryan's deck list, this is a very unconventional deck list for Mew VMAX. We saw a Scoop Up Net get discarded to the Cram-O-Matic. That's a card we've seen every once in a while play one of in your deck just to pick up like a Pumpkaboo or something like that. No, Ryan's playing 4 Scoop Up Net in this
Kyle,
deck.
you know what's so funny? I thought I saw a Scoop Up Net in the hand, and I was about to say, was that a Scoop Up Net? And I was like, no way, that was a Scoop Up Net. So I was like, never mind. But it was a Scoop Up Net, wow.
Yeah, there's 0 stadiums in Ryan's deck, just relying on Pumpkaboo for Pumpkin Pit and then Scoop Up Net to pick it up and reuse it. So really interesting build. There's also 1 Mew from Celebrations with the Mysterious Tail ability. So lots of Scoop Up Net shenanigans in this deck and lots of really paying respect to Pass to the Peak. So really wild deck lists. Haven't seen one like this before.
Yeah, at least we get to see a little bit of variation here. I mean, that's always nice to see, especially...
Still got your Cram-O-Matic, so...
Yeah. That's something I think every Mew VMAX player is still rolling with. All right, so that power tablet is coming into play here for Ryan, but we still have another Fusion Strike system here. There's another one.
Yep.
We see it. All right, so the Scoop Up Net.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So the Temple of Sinnoh is turning all the Fusion Strike energy into just plain colorless energy, but Cross Fusion Strike only takes 2 colorless energy. So even though it is rendering those mostly useless, they do still provide energy. And all right, going to see Boss's orders onto that Crobat V, and boom. What looked like an unplayable hand from Ryan is now going to turn into a knockout on Crobat V.
I think they're talking about the Temple of Sinnoh right now, interaction that we were just talking about.
Yep, so there's still 2 colorless energy on the Mew.
Yep.
Still attack, we're good.
I'm wondering if it's a dispute of the, like maybe the wrong attack was announced or something potentially.
Okay.
Which would be very unfortunate because there have been 2 power tablets played, so if this kind of just goes to waste for some reason, that would be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, there could also be a question over, if you're using Meloetta's attack, it counts the number of Fusion Strike energy you have in play.
That's true.
Even though their effects are shut off, it is still considered the card Fusion Strike energy, so that still works as well. So I think no matter what happens here, Ryan's going to end up doing something. It's going to end up in a favorable situation. It's still going to work.
At least we're getting some entertainment here on the screen today. Some interesting interactions here that you can use in your own matchups here. Now we're dropping knowledge on the stream here. So
Temple of Sinnoh interactions. Didn't think we'd see that today.
Yeah, that's very true. You'll love to see it. Okay, so we did see that knockout there on the Crobat V. So Ryan taking 2 prize cards.
About all we're going to see, I think.
I was about to say, what are you oofing at here, Kyle? Let us know.
Andrea has no one card in hand, and it's not a good one. So just passing the turn. And yeah, I think Ryan is just looking like they're going to run away with this one.
Yep, using the first Fusion Strike system there. Drawing into an additional, I believe, 3 cards. Looks like there is an Ultra Ball in hand, an Escape Rope, another boss, a Cramomatic, and I think... I can't see that last card, but that is a hand. Oh, that's a Pal Pad. Okay, yeah. There we go. We see a Pal Pad. Okay, so we are going to see this Cramomatic. Let's see if it's a heads or a tails.
It was a tails.
All right, so Cramomatic does not pop off here for Ryan.
Yeah, I assume we'll see boss's orders this turn, but not playing it quite yet.
2 more cards, attaching the choice belt to the Mew VMAX.
I think Ryan waiting to play boss's orders, trying to see what they would draw. You know, if you draw a couple power tablets, maybe you go after the V-Star instead, but only having the choice belt, may as well just go after the V, and maybe you can finish off that V-Star a different turn.
I mean, that's still 2 prize cards, Kyle, and already having taken 2, that means there's only 2 left to be taken, which puts Ryan in a very good position here, especially with the sort of uneventful turns we've been seeing.
Yep, this game certainly took some turns. Remember, it was almost over on the second turn with Crobat V attacking to knock out a Meloetta, missed the energy attachment, and now things have completely turned around, but there is an evolution incense, and that will likely find the shady dealings in Teleon, and we'll see some trainer cards, and then maybe things will pick up from there, but I don't know. At this point, Andrea is behind 4 prize cards. It's going to be really tough to come back.
Yeah, definitely. It's never a position you want to be in, but of course we still have 38 minutes on the clock, Kyle, so there is still time here for Andrea if things don't go in their favor. So we still have some interesting matchups to play out just in case, but we're still rolling here for Andrea playing out this turn. We did see that evolution there into that Inteleon.
Yep, and I think Andrea's going to try to power up an attack here with the Hisuian Samurott V-Star. Going to need that Raihan. There's only 1 Dark Patch and 1 Raihan, the only ways to accelerate energy in the deck. So he's going to search that up. Well, you need to find a trainer card. Drizzile is not a trainer card, but hopefully there's a level ball or something like that.
Yep.
Evolution Incense. Going back into the deck, I assume with that Evolution Incense here.
Yeah, and Andrea, a little fortunate that the Stadium card is still in play after, I think a couple turns now. You can use Hisuian Samurott V-Star's V-Star power to put 4 damage counters on the Mew VMAX, since Temple of Sinnoh is still getting rid of the effect of Fusion Strike energy. So that'll put the damage counters on for the attack to get the bonus damage, and it will be a 3 prize knockout this turn if Andrea is able to power up the Hisuian Samurott V-Star. So the game's not quite over.
Yeah.
There are ways to just get one-hit knockouts on all these Pokemon that are weak to Darkness type. But obviously, Ryan is in a winning position at the moment. All it takes is some power tablets, another Mew VMAX, and it's just 1 more knockout and the game's over.
Do we know if the Pumpkaboo is in deck for Ryan either, Kyle, or if it was in the prize cards? I don't remember seeing it, but it could potentially be there as well, which would be very unfortunate.
Now we see an old school energy search.
I was about to say, I don't even recognize that art there. Yeah. That is a beautiful card.
What was the quick ball for?
I think even Ryan was like, what is that?
Yeah, I would be the same way.
That is not a commonly played energy search.
You use
Yeah, I think just trying to sort out everything that's going on here.
Okay.
There was a quick ball played, maybe?
Don't worry.
I think, yeah, just a few sequencing errors here, maybe some nerves at play.
I mean, you got to think about playing under the lights on the big stage with white noise in your ears as well. There's probably a lot of pressure, especially if you're unfamiliar with being on stream. too. I'm sure there are so many nerves behind that.
Yes.
Let alone if I win this, you know, I get into day 2, which is huge. So I'm sure that is definitely a factor here. We do see an energy attachment there. Okay, now we're seeing that.
Raihan for it.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we did see the Raihan, see the energy search
Yep.
for the energy, we see the attachment. We also did see Galarian Moltres V come down. That one's really dangerous because it's got way less HP than Samurott does. So it's going to make it much easier for Ryan to get like a Boss's Orders, Power Tablet knockout. But we do see the Mooncleave Star put the 4 damage counters on the Mew VMAX thanks to Temple of Sinnoh. And the Merciless Blade taking the Swift 3 prize knockout. So putting some pressure on Ryan. We'll see what happens from here.
Yeah, that V-Star power, that the Mooncleave Star, just goes so well with this deck, and it's just unfortunate, like you were talking about, Kyle, that there has been no stadium bump. I'm beginning to think maybe the Pumpkaboo isn't there, but now we have a full bench here for Ryan as well, so Pumpkaboo can't even come down if that was a possibility. There's also a Fog Crystal. See that, Kyle? This is definitely a very interesting Mew list indeed. It's interesting to see some variation here in our Mew. Oh, there's even the little baby Mew, the one prize Mew as well. That's awesome. Oh, I do see the Pumpkaboo there, Kyle, in deck, but now there's unfortunately no space for it at this moment on the bench.
Find one of those 4 scoop up net.
That is very true. I think a couple of them are already in the discard pile, but I mean, there's 4 in the deck, so we should be seeing some more potentially as well.
Yep. Pretty wild. So we'll see, quick ball for the Mew. I think there's an Ultra Ball in hand, so just going to grab that to discard it. Probably grab the VMAX, and then just keep using that Fusion Strike system, keep drawing cards.
Thinning is winning for Mew VMAX especially. That is definitely true. Making sure that the cards you're drawing into are going to be cards that you want to use for the rest of this matchup. The most valuable cards that you need for your different outs in this game. So getting rid of cards, especially with Mew VMAX that has that draw ability, when you have a lower card hand is always very important. So we are going to see the free retreat out of the Mew VMAX and then the switch back into the Mew VMAX, resetting it there and also thinning cards as well.
Yep. Yeah, just to draw an extra card there. You have to do the awkward retreat and then switch. I think Ryan just looking for a way to get this last knockout. You can get a bunch of damage modifiers. Because there's the double turbo, I think you have to go 3 damage modifiers, but because the Galarian Moltres V is on the bench, you can also go Boss's Orders plus just 1 damage modifier, and that'll get a game-winning knockout.
And we did see 2 Boss's Orders be put back into the deck with Pal Pad earlier from Ryan as well. And then benching that Galarian Moltres V is, like you said, Kyle, just a huge liability, unfortunately, for Andrea. So we will see what happens here if that kind of comes out to haunt Andrea now. What cards we have from Ryan.
Ryan just keeps drawing like every Ultra Ball in the deck, every Quick Ball.
More Ultra Balls.
Yep, we do see the 4th Genesect come down now.
And another Scoop Up Net as well. Yeah, scooping up that other Meloetta and then just quick balling it out here. Quick balling.
Yep, and that power tablet means it's just Boss's Orders is game over.
We are Boss's Orders away. And now we have an extra Fusion Strike system to work with here. So really seeing Mew just whittle away. I mean, this turn has been going for a long while here, Kyle. And you can see how tedious it can be. Look how thin that deck is for Ryan. And there we go. There is the Boss's Order for Ryan.
Yep, that'll do
and the Power Tablet to grab that Galarian Moltres V and take that first game. 31 minutes left on the clock here to go into our second game. Those were definitely some interesting interactions for sure.
It was a wild ride.
Yeah, that was a wild ride. But now we're settling into this matchup a little bit. We saw some of those interactions happen. I'm sure now knowing well, the Temple of Sinnoh is in deck as well. And then we did see the Pumpkaboo, so I'm sure that is of knowledge as well on Andrea's side. So we could see some different plays here, I think, potentially. But yeah, that Temple of Sinnoh shutting down the fusion energies and allowing Andrea to do that Moon Cleave Star there, that V-Star ability was kind of huge there.
Yep, just a little too late, unfortunately.
Yep.
I think if you're Ryan, you look at the matchup, you're like, what in the world? It's like this deck was just made to beat me. It's all darkness types.
Yep.
The Galarian Wheezing doesn't hit me for weakness because it does no damage, but just shuts off all my abilities. Although you do have the Fusion Strike energy to go through that. But yeah, this is kind of a scary matchup. You have to feel a little bit fortunate thinking you got the first game and all you got to do is take one more and then, oh, Pumpkaboo
Our
prize.
Stampede Pumpkaboo. Now the Pumpkaboo's in the prize cards. We thought it was potentially last match, but for sure in there now. All right, so Andrea is going to be starting us off here, going into our game 2 for both of these players. Opting to go first and searching the deck with a level ball to grab any Pokemon that's 90 HP or less.
Yeah, if you're Ryan here, probably just thinking, let's just do what happened last game. You know, this Hisuian Samurott V-Star deck can be very clunky. It's one I've tried to make work several times, and always feels like there's just something off about it where it doesn't work the way you want it to all the time. So even though, you know, Ryan has weakness to fight through, we can just see what Mew VMAX does, right? It just keeps doing its thing. It's going to attack you, and then it's up to your opponent to deal with it. And
It's
if they
the bullet
can't,
train.
yeah.
when it starts going, it just keeps going pretty much. And at that point, sometimes even a path to the peak cannot slow it down, especially depending on what cards they already have. If they already have access to the stadium bump, if they play, you know, a Pumpkaboo and 4 scoop up nets, you never know what you're gonna see from you, VMAX here. But here we go, starting off very similarly, except Ryan actually has a turn where hopefully they would be able to play more Pokemon and such down, unlike last game.
We got the Battle VIP pass this time.
Yes, yes. Much better than the last very stressful game that we saw for Ryan. Potentially losing that Meloetta was very scary, but we do have the Battle VIP, so grabbing 2 basic Pokemon, putting them on the bench, most likely 2 Genesects. But what do you think that board state right now, Kyle, for Andrea here, our Samurott?
It's a little wonky. You got the Crobat V. You only got 1 Sobble. You got the 1 Galarian Zigzagoon. I think ideally you would want multiple Sobble up and running so you can have access to multiple shady dealings. So this is the kind of situation where you're like, oh, maybe I benched a few too many things I didn't need to. The Galarian Zigzagoon in particular, I can't remember when that was played, but the 1 damage counter on the Meloetta I don't think is particularly relevant for most things. You know, Hisuian Samurott V-Star would knock it out anyway. Pretty much any attack in your deck will knock out Meloetta.
Is it almost better to have saved it for a potential Mew VMAX, I suppose? I mean,
that's what I'm wondering,
yeah. To be able to get that damage counter on there as well. But, you know, we do see the coughing. It is a shiny one, too, in the active position here. So I'm wondering if we are going to see some Galarian Wheezing action for this deck, which we have definitely not seen today and very, very rarely get to see. So that's always a treat here. The Galarian Wheezing with the neutralizing gas, is that what it is? Oh,
got it.
I'm proud of myself there. But, yes, which would shut down abilities besides the neutralizing gas. So that is going to be another interesting interaction we could potentially see here as well.
Yeah, just think of the layers. You can have neutralizing gas, but then fusion strike energy stops that, but then the Temple of Sinnoh.
Yeah, it's like cancel, but cancel, but cancel. Yeah, very intricate interactions here in this matchup, and very interesting list too. This isn't even a traditional Mew VMAX list that we're watching being played here as well. So it's definitely a treat to see some interesting decks here, and both of these players, you know, their record's 5-1-0. So they have been going through the matches today and being successful with these decks. So that's always awesome to see as well. All right, so we see the thinning here. Already a full bench for Ryan. 3 Genesects, 1 Mew V, and a Meloetta, as well as second Meloetta. The first one in the active here with the double turbo energy and that damage counter, of course, from the Zigzagoon. We are only, I believe, 1 Fusion Strike system down on Ryan's side. Let's see what's in the hand here. Another Ultra Ball, a Mew V, a VMAX.
Just digging for
Palpad.
Elisa's Sparkle to get an attack off this turn, but hasn't been able to find one yet.
Yeah, having to throw cards away here, but nothing I think that's too detrimental so far. I believe we're seeing the Palpad and then also the Ultra Ball interaction, just making sequencing a little bit easier so you don't have to shuffle multiple times and all of that. So we did see that supporter get shuffled back into the deck, and then the Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards to search out a Pokemon, but I believe just failing it there to have less cards in hand to be able to utilize.
The last Fusion Strike system,
That Fusion Strike system. Yep, it is. Sure is.
Is it? Oh, the last card.
Wow, there we go.
Wow.
Last card for Ryan, but it does pay off getting that Elisa's Sparkle there, targeting down the 2 Meloettas here, the one on the bench and the active Pokemon.
Yeah, really interesting. Only 1 Mew V down in this matchup. Maybe thinking that it's not worth giving up the 3 prize knockouts as often on the Mew VMAX. Just thinking, hey, Meloetta can do enough damage. Maybe there's enough kind of easy targets in play already with the Crobat V and some things like that. So, yeah, may as well just go for Meloetta, and we are going to see Ryan take the first knockout with that Meloetta.
The shiny coughing is hitting that discard pile.
Yep.
Definitely shiny indeed. All these cards are very shiny here for Andrea. All right, so promoting that Sobble to the active position. And now what does Andrea need to do in the sense to respond to this? I mean, we don't even see an energy on the board state here, Kyle.
Yeah, that's the tough part. We're going to see that.
That is a research?
Yep, Professor's Research. Got Professor Willow from Pokemon Go.
Yeah, Pokemon Go set. That is a very pretty full art as well. So we're going to see a fresh 7 cards here for Andrea to the hand. Lots of supporters there.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is that Andrea doesn't seem to have any, well, the only kind of cheap attacker, like 1 energy, is Galarian Weezing. There's no Hoopa or anything like that. That would be a nice response here. You know, just a 1 energy Assault Gate from Hoopa. But no, that's not an option. So it's going to have to be some kind of play with a Dark Patch plus an energy attachment. Otherwise, this Meloetta is going to be free to attack again. And that's something you never want to let happen. You don't want to let your opponent snowball the amount of Fusion Strike energy that's in play and just keep doing more and more damage. You have to respond to these knockouts immediately.
Yeah, especially when you are a 1 prize Pokemon and you're taking multiple prizes off your opponent. That is definitely never what you want to see when you're playing against someone because, you know, if you do end up knocking them out, you're only getting 1 prize card and you've lost, you know, potentially 2, 3. Yep. So that is definitely losing the prize race in that sense. We're going to see a Quick Ball, discarding a Quick Ball here for a basic Pokemon for Andrea.
I'm not quite sure what you're going for at this point. I guess just another Sobble.
It's interesting we see like multiple kind of draw engines here. I mean, we have the Crobat V that could potentially also technically turn into an attacker. Not sure if the VMAX is in the deck either, but also kind of a mixture because we do see the Sobbles and the Drizziles and the Inteleons as well. Of course, that quick shooting making a lot of sense here to place those damage counters, so definitely is fit here. But there's multiple ways to draw into cards. It's definitely a different way to see the Inteleon engine. But I think we are passed over now to Ryan. Yeah, it is Ryan's turn now. Once again, just passing over. And this is a tricky situation now, Kyle, because as we said before, you're just kind of letting the Meloetta free roam here. The Cramomatic did fail for that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do feel like some nerves may have gotten to Andrea. You know, it's basically the highest pressure game you can be in. You're on stage at the World Championships. Ooh, another Cramomatic. That one looks like it was
First
tails
game
as
check
well.
to draw 3
But you know, you're on stream under the bright lights at the World Championships. You're on your winning in to make it to day 2. It's really nerve-wracking. And wow, just triple tails, 3 in a row in Cramomatic. Just discarded
Wow.
6 cards.
Oh my goodness, that is wild.
But yeah, I think there's been a couple times where Andrea has, you know, done some things, searched for some cards, and then we've seen a little bit of regret. So still just trying to find their footing in this game and figure things out. It's not over by any means, but Ryan is certainly in a strong position here with another knockout with Meloetta.
I'll tell you what, Kyle, it definitely takes a lot of guts
Yes.
to go up and be on stream.
Absolutely.
I think I would melt. I mean, I know I'm casting here, but it's different when you are under, you know, the lights, the cameras, and all of that, and you're having to play at the best of your ability. You know, thousands of eyes are watching you, and you could be potentially thinking about, you know, oh, what do they think of my plays and all of that as well. So there's so much that goes into it.
Yes.
I'm sure we're definitely, I think we've seen a lot of nerves today from many of our matchups. And that's always just going to be a factor, unfortunately. But when you're playing on the world stage, that's going to be a thing. We did see the Hisuian heavy ball there.
We'll see
Andrea?
the Raihan going on to the Hisuian Samurai V-Star. So
Accelerating
we're gonna see,
1 energy there.
we're going to see some attacks coming out now from Andrea.
We are online.
We also saw an interesting tech card in the prizes, and Agatha, a card that I haven't really seen used in competitive play before.
Oh, yeah.
Another way to get damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon.
I mean, when you need the damage counters, I guess you'll do anything to get there, that's for sure.
Yep.
So I guess we are we could see some Merciless Blades here. That's actually a really intense move as well, the name of it. I like it.
Hisuian Samurai V-Star is merciless, yeah.
Merciless Blades. All right, so we did see the Quick Ball searching out that Galarian Moltres V and choosing to bench it here as well. That was kind of the card we saw in the last game, Kyle, that unfortunately sort of was a liability on the bench here for Andrea, but choosing to come down again because we kind of need, I guess, some sort of recovery here of the energies, a secondary attacker as well. Looks like they're disputing something, but I think they're figuring it out.
Yeah, it looks like there's dispute over whether Sobble came into play this turn. I don't think it did. It was already in play last turn, so just want to make sure that, you know, you're allowed to evolve and use shady dealings.
Yep.
Is finding the Marnie, but a supporter card has already been played, so hopefully a second one doesn't get played.
Yep, that Raihan was played to accelerate that energy and search a card, so, oh no.
Nope, don't do that.
Oh yeah, trying to play the Marty? Yep. I think, okay, there we go. So we're gonna see the Moon Cleave Star flipping that V-Star power over here for Andrea and putting
Big
those,
heads up play.
Yeah, putting those 4 damage counters onto the Mew V.
Yeah, doing that ahead of time in case a Fusion Strike energy comes down and would block the effect later. So really smart play from Andrea there. Setting the Mew VMAX, potential Mew VMAX up to be knocked out by the next Merciless Blade. Typically, you kind of want to wait till the last second to use the V-Star power so you have the most options possible available to you, but in this situation, it's much better to just get the damage on and not have to worry about that Fusion Strike energy locking you down later.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you're secured for that extra damage because you're going to need it to take down that 3 prize card Mew VMAX that we just saw get put into play here for Ryan. Oh my gosh. Oh, 3 power tablets.
Well, that's one way to knock out a V-Star.
Ooh, that is definitely. We've seen that a handful of times from our Mew VMAX players on stream before, but it's always like, oh my goodness. You hate to see it if you're playing against this Mew VMAX.
Yeah,
all that damage.
plus 90 damage. Yep.
Yes, 30 damage each for those power tabs. So they are in play, but of course, they won't actually take effect until something is damaged, but we're still on Ryan's turn here. There's plenty more to do for our Mew VMAX. Of course, these turns can take some time, as we've seen throughout the day, or they could go really quickly, you know, depending on what's going on the board. But I believe we've only used one Fusion Strike system here from what I'm tracking.
Yeah, this is the situation you hate to be in when you're playing against the Mew VMAX deck. They're about to go down to 2 prize cards. You have multiple 2 prize Pokemon that are easy targets on your bench, and you just, it just feels awful to play in this situation knowing that, sure, I'll play my next turn, knock out the Mew VMAX, but there's a very, very, very low chance that my opponent doesn't just win the game on the following turn.
Yeah, that HP, the Crobat V, the Galarian Moltres V is just, and even the Samurott as well, is just a little bit too low, unfortunately. Easy knockouts here for the Mew VMAX.
Yeah, the only silver lining is that this is the only Mew in play, so there's not a second Mew VMAX lined up. So the maximum right now Meloetta is doing is the 140 plus the 30 from the Choice Belt. So Ryan still does need to find either another Power Tablet or that last Fusion Strike energy, which is still in the prize cards, in order to take down even a Crobat V. Now, it all involves still Andrea getting a knockout on this turn in the first place, but you know, putting down the 4 Genesect V does come at a cost, does come at a price. You do not have space for many attackers in that situation, and Ryan has chosen Meloetta to be the last one. So even though it seems like Ryan's in a good position, I think it comes down to whether or not you find the last Power Tablet. And there we see the Marnie from Andrea. Now, I think Andrea still needs to find an Inteleon plus maybe a Scoop Up Net or a Dark Patch to get the knockout, plus the Hisuian Samurott V-Star. That was a big part of this, actually being able to get a knockout on the Mew VMAX. We do see Ultra Ball, so this can find the Shady Dealings Inteleon. But where do we go from there? Are there enough cards in hand, enough resources to string together this knockout?
Is there a Shady Dealings Inteleon? I would assume
also a good question.
But it might just be the quick shooting Inteleons. I don't think we've seen a Shady Dealings yet from Andrea. But I mean, I guess there is that variability potentially there. But it looks like we're going to retrieve the Samurott V-Star. So no, I don't think there is a Shady Dealings.
There's one. There was in the first game. It may already be in the discard though, or in the prize cards.
Sometimes it's hard to tell with all these shiny Pokemon. There's so much bling. It's blinding me, Kyle. No, it's great.
Looks like not going to be able to find the knockout here. Just going to have to pass, and this is going to be really rough.
Looking grim. This is looking real grim.
Ryan did have the boss's orders plus the Power Tablet anyway. So here we go. Meloetta going to move up into the active spot. We see a boss's orders, a Power Tablet, and that is it. Ryan Tan is going to advance to day 2 here at the Pokemon TCG World Championship.
Wow, congratulations to Ryan there. That was an incredible, that was an incredibly intricate matchup, and Ryan definitely